Good afternoon, Southwest Florida. This is Sekou Radio. And today we have a great guest. Her name is Jenny Liu. Jenny is raising a young golfer, a young golf player who wants to be a great golfer. So Jenny is born in Shanghai, China. Both of her parents were professional athletes. Now retired, her mom was a professional gymnast and an Olympic and international judge for China. And her dad was a professional player on the Chinese national team, soccer. As a youngster, Jenny played professional table tennis. Her family moved to Canada after elementary school, where Jenny grew up and completed university, earning a bachelor degree in business administration marketing. After graduating, Jenny worked as a marketing and public relations manager for international beauty and fashion company in Canada and China. Jenny moved to California in 2001, where her then husband, who was an Olympic champion gymnast, they started and run a successful gymnastic training center and produced numerous Olympians and collegiate gymnasts that attended Stanford and UC Berkeley on athletic scholarship. After selling her business in 2018, Jenny and her son come to Florida, where her son attended a boarding school and golf program at IMG Academy. Currently, they live in Sarasota, while her son attends Pineview School and play golf tournament in the state of Florida. Jenny, welcome to Sekou Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is the heavy resume you have there. My first question to you is, you were born in China and moved to United States. I wanted to know at what age you moved to U.S. Actually, you told us that, but we have that. I'd like to hear from you. Can you please elaborate on these three countries, meaning China, United States, and Canada?
Okay, well, I grew up, I was born in Shanghai, as you mentioned, and I moved to Canada after I finished elementary school. So when I was little, while in China, I played ping pong, table tennis, and that was very structured and disciplined. In China, I guess it's a very different system. So if it's either you play professional sport or you don't, at least at my, 20, 30 years ago was a very different time then. So when I was little, I got up at 5:45. I was in the boarding school, athletic school. I got up at 5:45, trained in the morning for 3 hours, then went to school in the same facility. And then after lunch, we took a break, and then we trained again for another 5 hours. That's when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. So I play ping pong. Yeah. So in China, it was very a grueling schedule, very intensive from a very, very young age. And then moved to Canada, which is probably the total opposite of China. It was much more laid back. I could choose to play ping pong if I wanted to, but I chose not to because it was at that time I was just very burned out from playing a professional sport. So I went to school in Canada. I was very laid back and free, and it was very different. I liked it, but it was just I was able to be a kid and just go through school and pretty much worry-free. So that was Canada. And after I graduated from college, I went back. I went to China to work, and also as well as in Canada. And from my family background, like you mentioned, my mom's an Olympic judge, and my dad's a professional soccer player. So they were very, very, I would say, overachievers, especially my mom. So I inherited part of that gene, part of that personality. So Canada was a bit too laid back for me. So I went back to China to work, and then met my then ex-husband, who's an Olympic gymnast. And we decided to come to California, come to the U.S. So that was 20 years ago, exactly 20 years ago in January. And I would say U.S. is somewhat of a combination of both, of China and Canada. So it has a lot more opportunities here than in Canada. Obviously, a lot more people, a lot more things going on, but it also has a lot of freedom for kids, for parents, for everyone who's here. So as far as education or training or sports is concerned, it requires a lot more. It requires self-discipline. So, and a lot of parental guidance, because it's up to the parents and somewhat the kids to keep it going, to do something that you want to do. No one is going to force you to do this, but you would have to be self-disciplined to achieve more than the bare minimum.
Right.
So that's what I would say the difference between the three countries.
Now, I'm going to stay on that question. You were very advanced in ping pong, table tennis. If you had a choice between those countries, which country would have been better for you to continue so you don't feel that burnout, to keep on playing? Because I feel like you still have that love for table tennis in the back of your head, no?
Well, that's kind of a difficult question for me to answer, because I was put into table tennis when I was very little. Obviously, anyone who's young would like table tennis. However, I didn't have a choice. I was put in table tennis the very first day I actually picked up a paddle. I still remember very clearly. I went to school when first day elementary school. I was 5. I was younger for my age. And I picked up the paddle, which I wanted to try, and the next day I was on the school team. And that was it. My mom decided to put me on the school team. And then within, I think, 3 months, I was in the athletic school. In China, they had athletic schools separate from regular schools. So you start professional training at a very young age. So I was barely 6 when I started professional table tennis training. And I don't know if I liked it. I didn't have the choice to say if I really liked table tennis. I like it to play for fun, but I'm not sure if I ever wanted to be a professional table tennis player. and
Right.
I didn't have a choice. So when I had a choice, when I moved to Canada, I chose not to. I did not want to become a professional athlete.
Right.
So for that question, I don't know the answer to it because I did not want to be a professional athlete. So if I remained in China, I probably would have been forced or had no choice but to become a professional athlete or a table tennis player. Right. I don't know if I would have made it to Olympics because the level of table tennis is so high in China.
Right.
So, but I probably would have continued to play until I was at least graduate from high school or college.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the second question of the day. Your son is a promising golfer. My question to you is, when did you find out? When did you find out golf is a way to go for him? At what age?
Well, he has always been a very good athlete, always, since he was very little, since he was 2. He did this gymnastics, swimming, he skied, everything that he did, with the exception of probably soccer. He did not get the soccer gene from my dad, but he got the very good gene from my mom and his dad, and he was a natural athlete. He was very good at everything that he participated in, and he learned instantly. So as far as golf was concerned, at the time he was doing gymnastics, the swimming, he was doing a lot of different sports, but because of my background of growing up in professional sports, in the gym, on the soccer field, I was probably thought of it a little bit more than a regular parent. So for him, he's not going to be a very, very tall person, given that, the stature. So he wasn't going to be a basketball player, excuse me, or a swimmer, or Olympic level swimmer, because he wasn't going to be that tall. Gymnastics, he was natural at, and at the time, Tiger was the number 1 player, and golf was just booming. And but the golf was just thanks to Tiger, I must say, golf was just gaining notoriety and momentum, and it just happened by coincidence. I and my ex-husband was just caught the golf bug. We loved it. Even though he's a professional athlete, I grew up in the club, we just loved it because compared to gymnastics, even though we were professional, it was a very short-lived sport. So usually most gymnasts are done by their early 20s or in college.
Right.
For girls, that's even earlier. So when we found golf, we thought that was the perfect sport. You can play until you're 90 years old. You can play your whole life. You can still be a professional if you wanted to in your 40s and 50s, like Tiger and Phil. And I just thought that was perfect. And the first day when my son picked up a club, I took him to the driving range at a golf course. He was natural. His swing was just natural. Looked like a little professional. And at that time, I just thought, hey, that's the sport to go. We should continue, even just for the purpose of recreation, just so he can become a golfer all his life. I thought that was the best sport for him at the time. We continued with other sports. It wasn't until probably a couple of years ago that because of the time restraint, he played golf more exclusively. But during his younger years, he participated in all of the sports that he liked. Even in basketball and skiing and snowboarding and gymnastics and swimming, everything. I believed that no matter what.